Thank you. Thank you, USC Annenberg School of Communication, and especially Dean Willow Bay. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. And thank you to all you parents and guardians who have supported your child in their journey in so many different ways, and you graduates. Hi, everybody. I'm so honored to be here today for you. Congratulations for reaching this milestone of a day. This launches a new chapter in your lives. You know, there's a lot of things that I'd like to say, but I'm going to say two kind of little-ish things that can make a big difference in your lives going forward, and then I'm going to talk about two really big things that could make a difference for the future of mankind. How does that sound? Okay. I don't think that a graduating class has ever gone out into a world that is more uncertain and polarized. You know, being young and starting out is always hard, but you're going to be facing unique challenges. And so my first bit of advice, develop a toolkit of self-care. I'm not kidding. Learn techniques to soothe your anxieties, to calm yourself, to stay resilient in the face of hardships. There are techniques and meditation and other things to help you do this. And believe me, you're going to need them. Next, don't let anxiety or depression or hopelessness cause you to isolate. On the contrary, grow yourself a deep, solid community of people who share your values. Have each other's backs, check up on each other regularly, and be intentional about this. You know, in these uncertain times, we need to strengthen our ties to community, to our colleagues, our friends, and family, because more and more, we're going to need this support for safety, for love, for help, for fun. Let's not forget fun. And for survival. You may not be aware of this, but since the 1980s, there's been a concerted effort to promote individualism. You know, I'm here for me and mine. And this shift to individualism is no accident. It's being driven by people who want us disempowered. The myth of the rugged individual who needs no one is just that. It's a myth created by stories through culture, told through culture, and the kinds of things that you all are going to be doing. So, graduate students working with words and images, do the reverse. Encourage community versus individualism. Thank you. Do you guys realize the power that you have? You are the people who can shape the stories by which we define ourselves and our place in the world. And that's why I want to speak to you about the big stuff, which is why we need friends and community and self-care, why these things are so critical right now, and why courage is more important than ever. You are graduating into uncharted territory. This country, not to mention the world, has never faced anything like the challenges we face today. And because y'all have been studying journalism, public relations, and communication, you have the power to help shape how we face these challenges. There are two unprecedented and deeply interconnected challenges before us: democracy and climate. And for both, it is now or never. Right now, We are losing the democratic norms, capacity, and infrastructure that we need to solve climate and everything else. And we're losing the climate stability to solve democracy and everything else. We will win. Thank you. We're going to win or lose these two things together. And I'm going to start with democracy. Our voting rights and our civil rights are under attack. Voting really matters. That's why it's under attack. So fight for your rights and encourage others to do the same. Make voting great again. And encourage people who vote to vote with knowledge. Study up on who you're thinking about voting for. Does the candidate take money from oil, gas, and coal, or from big pharma? Because lots of them do. The Democrats, every bit as much as the Republicans, by the way. If they do, it means they're supporting what benefits corporations and not what benefits you. And vote all the way down the ballot. That means don't forget the sheriff, the school board, public utilities, the city council. You would be amazed at how much power these down-ballot offices can wield when it comes to democracy and climate. Another constitutional right that's being criminalized today is legal protest. Now listen up, guys. Here is the honest-to-God truth. Your children having a livable future will depend on whether we end our addiction to oil, gas, and coal. Well, there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm for that, but we'll work on it. And to accomplish this, along with voting, requires engaging in advocacy, and sometimes even nonviolent protests. Yet these lawful actions are being criminalized right now. And that's because those who stand to lose the most from a unified and engaged public, including big polluters who drive the climate crisis, they don't want us protesting. But it's not a democracy if we can't legally protest. Let's all remember that throughout history, the history of this country, starting with the Boston Tea Party, all of the rights that we enjoy today were fought for with protests. The 8-hour workday, child labor laws, women's right to vote, clean air and clean water, all of this. This was all fought for by people in the streets forcing officials to give them what they desperately needed. And those people in the streets were demonized, they were beaten, they were imprisoned, and even murdered. And today we honor those historical heroes. For example, back in the 50s, Rosa Parks and her husband were fired from their jobs and driven out of Montgomery with death threats because she dared to sit on a bus where white people only were supposed to sit. And today, schools are named after Rosa Parks, statues erected in her honor. When she died, her casket was placed in honor in the nation's capital. See, time and information change things, and you all are the deliverers of information. You all probably don't know this, but the last time I spoke to a large group of students on campus at USC. I was hung in effigy from the branch of a nearby tree, I think it was. And yet here I am today delivering your commencement speech. See, opinions change. I'm telling you this today because you are graduating into a country where people fighting to save democracy and the planet, using those same constitutionally protected rights, are being vilified, sued for millions of dollars, and imprisoned. So I call on all of you today, soon to be professional communicators, public relationalists, is that a word? And journalists, I call on you to resist the pressure to vilify peaceful protesters. Help people understand that in a time of escalating climate crisis and the dismantling of democracy, protest is not just protected and effective, it is imperative. As I said earlier, we face two unprecedented and interconnected challenges. Climate is the other one, and climate is the existential problem. And it's not being talked about in those terms. The climate clock is ticking. At a certain point, the heat that's being trapped within the atmosphere by the blanket of pollution that we are wrapping around the globe because of burning oil, gas, and coal, the heat will get so severe that crucial ecosystems that we depend on for our survival are going to collapse, like the ocean and the forests, which provide our oxygen. Like insects, bats, bees, birds, butterflies that provide a third or more of our food through pollination. Pollination, politicization, pollination. They pollinate. You know, back in the 50s when I drove home from college, my windshield would be covered with squashed insects that would have been splattered during the drive. This is probably not going to happen to you when you drive home, if you drive home. And that'll probably make you happy because you don't have to clean your windshield so much. But it's not good. It's not good. Those insects, like the ocean and the forests, those are our allies in the fight for survival. You will go on from here to be communicators of one sort or another. You'll be working with words and images to tell stories and create slogans that set social norms. Things like, should I buy new clothes every season? Is shopping locally at a farmer's market a good idea? Are the peaceful protesters bad people or citizens exercising their rights? You are the ones who will help establish the norms. So try to use your voices, your words and stories to motivate people, to reduce the pollution that's killing us, to reduce the overconsumption that's destroying our landscapes and ocean with waste and the burning of oil, gas, and coal. Use your skills to show people what it looks like to live in harmony with nature. Do they really need all those toys to prove their worth? Shouldn't our worth come through our deeds and not our stuff? If you write or talk about the apocalyptic fires we had last January, don't neglect to tie their ferocity to the climate crisis. Help people understand. You know, you can see a homeless person and the story is they didn't work hard. They didn't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Or you can have a new story. We're all better off when we're all better off. And advocate for protecting social safety nets. You can redefine sufficiency to be about health, in balance, community, ecological resilience, not accumulating more stuff. And here's the new story. I have enough. What we need now are strong communities and a healthy planet. The good news is, and I want you to know this, what we face, the challenges, they are winnable. Times are very hard, but not hopeless. I want you to know that. Across the country, people are pushing back, holding the line against the dismantling of democracy. People are advancing more climate solutions than you can imagine all across the country. I mean, it's stunning, really, what people are doing. There is definitely reason for hope, but hope takes action. It's easy to be optimistic. Everything's going to be fine, but you don't do anything to make it so. Hope is a muscle, like the heart. It's when we take action that hope comes alive. Václav Havel, the playwright that became the president of Czechoslovakia, once said, "Hope is not the conviction that everything is going to turn out well, but the certainty that something is worth doing no matter how well it turns out." So act. Be brave. Talk about these crises with your friends. Write about these crises. Join an organization that's working on them. You'll meet new friends, new community. You'll have fun. And life will become more meaningful because you'll be living for things bigger than yourself. You know, I've tried it both ways. This is better, trust me. If you only knew what I meant. People who shape society's stories are the most powerful people in the society, and that's you, dear graduates, that is you. And I wish you courage and love as you go flex your muscles. Thank you. Thank you.